Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, March 14th, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really look for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We can see that cold front that was affecting portions of Florida as well as the northern Gulf of Mexico yesterday has dipped towards the south and east, so it's now affecting portions of the Bahamas as well as the northwestern tip of Cuba. And the other cold front that was situated to the north of the eastern Caribbean yesterday has now pushed out towards the east, so it is now situated to the north of the main development region. And if we actually take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front across portions of the Bahamas, the northwestern tip of Cuba and Mexico right there, bringing some amount of overcast skies and rainfall to those spots. And we can see the clouds associated with the second cold front stretching all the way from northern sections of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of the main development region. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let's focus our attention on what was stated yesterday for today's weather. In yesterday's video, we made mention that we would have received some amount of rainfall across portions of northern Jamaica, so not everywhere in northern Jamaica, but sections of northern Jamaica, including maybe Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. We would have also had some amount of prediction for rainfall across sections of western Jamaica, so maybe Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth could have gotten in on some of that rainfall as well. But what ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page highlighting some amount of clouds at 3:06 p.m., bringing some overcast skies and rainfall to sections of the island, especially northern Jamaica. So Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary and Portland got in on some amount of overcast skies. We also had some of these clouds across portions of St. Elizabeth as well. We even had some amount of clouds in inland areas of some southern parishes. So when I say inland areas, I mean way inland. So northern Clarendon, northern St. Catherine, northern St. Andrew got in on some amount of overcast skies and rainfall as well. And if we actually take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see that we had those clouds across those various spots up even into the evening hours when we started to lose the daylight. And we even had some amount of rainfall right there spilling into the sea right there off the coast of Westmoreland, and we saw that on the Doppler radar images with some of those yellows and greens indicating moderate to slightly heavy rainfall. And if we actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology's accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours, we have the confirmation that we indeed had some amount of rainfall across sections of eastern, northern and western Jamaica just as predicted. And we even had some commenters commenting and confirming the rainfall across the island. Shawnee Reynolds stating place cool and nice from the rain. Another person, Tasha K. Everbless, stating got some rain in Golden Spring. Another person, Shanique Jahim Cameron, stating got some rain in Portland, which we are grateful for. Another person stating my side of Kingston dry, no rain in a long while. So I guess these persons were on the far southern side of the island getting little to no rain, Portmore and Kingston just as expected. Another commenter on Instagram, on our Instagram page, Danger Big, stating rain in St. Bess, just like what we saw in this on the satellite images. And we even had another commenter, Slay Mode Boutique, highlighting that they had some rainfall in Portland and St. Mary and sections of St. Andrew right there. Even on our Twitter page, we had a commenter confirming the rainfall, that we had some amount of rainfall across portions of Portland as well. What will the temperatures be like for tonight? We can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston and 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. And as the night progresses, these temperatures should be getting lower. But what will be the temperatures for tomorrow? We can still see that Jamaica is embedded in some amount of yellows. That's indicative of at least 1 degree Celsius above average temperatures. And what are the temperatures for the month of March. Again, what are the average temperatures? About 87 degrees Fahrenheit. And 87 degrees Fahrenheit is about the equivalent of up to 30 to 31 degrees Celsius. And if we're going to be receiving at least 1 degree Celsius above average, we should be receiving anywhere from, let's say, 30 to 33 degrees Celsius at most. So we should be in our low 30s as usual. As it relates to the dry air map, we can see that Jamaica is starting to clear out. We're starting to see some amount of blues across Jamaica, so we're having more moist air in the area, which would be good for some amount of rainfall to, you know, affect sections of the island for tomorrow. Excuse me. If we actually take a look at the Saharan air layer forecast, we can see that we have some amount of Saharan dust coming into our area tomorrow, affecting portions of Jamaica. This is 2 p.m. on Wednesday, but the rainfall that we would be receiving tomorrow might outshine all of that Saharan dust. If we actually take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that Jamaica is still receiving 1.5 meter wave heights or less, as indicated by the keys at the bottom. And that is due to the fact that we'll be having some weak winds tomorrow, so anywhere from 5 to 10 knot winds coming in from the southeast on the Euro and the GFS, with the least amount of winds right there across portion of northern Jamaica. So there will definitely be some amount of afternoon convection during the daytime hours. If we actually take a look at the wind shear map, if we should have some amount of cumulonimbus clouds forming during the afternoon, those will be pushed off towards the east. You can see that wind shear coming in from the west, so any one of those clouds in the upper levels of the atmosphere will be pushed off towards the east, bringing some amount of overcast skies to those very spots in the east, and making some of these thunderstorms lingering even into the evening hours. And if we actually take a look at the precipitation forecast, this is a very interesting precipitation forecast. Quite interesting, the most interesting one that I've seen all year long. We can see that we have rainfall coming in as early as 2 a.m. on Wednesday, and look at all of this rainfall to the north of Jamaica surrounding the island on the Euro. The GFS is a bit more robust, showing more of the rainfall even on land at 2 a.m. on Wednesday. Moving ahead, considering that we're not any longer on Eastern Standard Time, it wouldn't be 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It would be 1 a.m. Jamaica time. So this is actually 1 a.m. And if we actually take a look, moving ahead 2 hours at 3 a.m., we see that we have more colors, even more rainfall, even more convection surrounding the island. And some of this rainfall might meander on and off the island, affecting sections of the region. This is 3 a.m. on the Euro, and the GFS is showing something similar, not as robust as the Euro though. The GFS is a bit less with the intensity of the rainfall, but either way, both of them are in consensus that there will be some amount of rainfall across the island. Moving ahead 2 hours later, this is 5 a.m. We still have some amount of rainfall affecting portion of the island on both the Euro and the GFS. Moving ahead 2 hours later again, this is 7 a.m. Nothing has changed that drastically. We still have rainfall affecting portion of the island, especially eastern Jamaica. Moving ahead to 9 a.m., we still have rainfall, especially across eastern and southern Jamaica. It will definitely be a rainy day tomorrow. Moving ahead to 11 a.m., we still have some amount of rainfall across eastern and central Jamaica. It will definitely be quite the rainy day, so ensure that you bring your umbrella, bring your rain gear, whatever the case may be. Moving ahead to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's actually 1 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that we have a lot of rainfall starting to build up, even across sections of central Jamaica. Look at all of those colors indicative of heavy rainfall at that time, 1 p.m. Even have more blues indicating rainfall on the GFS. Lots of consensus going on. Looking ahead to 3 p.m. on the Euro and the GFS, we have much of the same thing happening. So it will definitely be quite the rainy day tomorrow. And looking at the accumulated precipitation forecast, this is as much as it gets as it relates to the consensus, having the Euro and the GFS showing this much rainfall. And all of these reds are indicative of at least up to 1 inch of rainfall. So there's a chance that we might even get in on some amount of isolated flash flooding, with some amount of thunderstorm developing across the island for tomorrow. And this is very good considering that the month of March is usually dry. If we actually take a look at the Jamaican average rainfall for the year, March is one of the driest months of the year, so any rainfall that we'll be getting tomorrow is much appreciated. But why are we getting all of this rainfall tomorrow? If we actually take a look back at the significant feature map, we can see that we have a cold front right there to the north of Cuba. What does this mean? If we actually go back to the wind forecast, we can see that across the Caribbean, by tomorrow, by Wednesday, so by Wednesday, we can see that we have less winds across portions of Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, due to the fact that we'll be having that cold front right here. The winds to the north and west of that cold front will be coming in from the northeast, and the winds to the south and east of that cold front will be coming in from the east or the southeast across the island. So with these winds, we're going to be having all of these winds colliding and causing some amount of convergence in the area, bringing some amount of cloud cover and rainfall across those various spots across the Greater Antilles. That's why we'll be getting some amount of rainfall across the region. This is where the cold front will be situated at 7 a.m. on March 15th, tomorrow, right there across portions of Mexico, Cuba, and the Turks and Caicos. Moving ahead, we can see that by 7 a.m. on March 16th, the cold front would be situated across Jamaica itself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's talk about the weather across the Caribbean. So we can see that we had some amount of passing clouds to the south of Hispaniola and Jamaica for today. We had some amount of buildup of clouds across portions of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, as well as Colombia as usual. Have some amount of clouds across portions of Suriname and French Guiana, as well as Brazil right there. We can also see some amount of buildup of clouds across portions of the Dominican Republic and sections of Puerto Rico as well. Let's take a look at the Doppler radar images. You know that Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall as opposed to satellite images that can only show cloud cover. And if we actually take a look, we can actually see that we had some amount of rainfall across portions of the US Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, especially during the afternoon. This Doppler radar image is showing all the rainfall that we got from about 1:30 p.m. up until now recording hour. We can see that Puerto Rico got its fair share, especially portions of central and southern Puerto Rico got in on some amount of rainfall. If you actually take a look at the Barbados radar, however, not much of anything is showing right now. They're actually in the clear at this time. However, if you actually take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see a lot of rainfall right there across portions of northwestern Cuba associated with that cold front, not to mention portions of Mexico, portions of Honduras right there as well. You can also see some amount of rainfall across portions of Colombia as well. If you actually take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we have a lot of above normal temperatures anywhere from Central America stretching all the way eastward. So Central America, ABC Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, Turks and Caicos, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, as well as portions of the Leeward and Northern Windward Islands. If we actually take a look at both maps, we can see that there's some amount of consensus that the Southern Windward Islands will be getting below average temperatures for tomorrow. So anywhere from St. Vincent southward, so St. Vincent, Grenada, Tobago, Trinidad, portions of the northeastern sections of Venezuela, portions of the northern sections of Guyana and Suriname are getting on some of those below normal temperatures. Below normal temperatures are also expected across portions of Mexico as well as the southern and eastern United States, all courtesy of that cold front. If you actually take a look at the dry air forecast or the Saharan dust forecast for tomorrow, yes, we still have some amount of Saharan dust across portions of the eastern Caribbean for tomorrow, but it won't be as robust as these dust particles will be dissipating as the evening progresses. Moving ahead to the wave forecast, we can see that we have anywhere from 1 to 2-meter wave heights, especially across portions of the eastern Caribbean, and that is due to the winds churning up the ocean right there to the east of the United States. Yes, all of those winds being churned up is being pushed downward toward the eastern Caribbean. Let's talk about the precipitation forecast. We can see that on both the Euro and the GFS, the eastern Caribbean islands are in the clear. Anywhere from the Leeward Islands all the way down to Trinidad are in the clear. The rainfall actually starts right there at Puerto Rico. On the Euro, we're seeing some amount of rainfall up to 0.25 of an inch of rainfall across, especially eastern Puerto Rico. The GFS is a bit more robust, showing even up to an inch of rainfall across portions of the eastern Puerto Rico. Not to mention maybe even getting into sections of the British Virgin Islands. You can also see sections of Hispaniola getting in on some of that rainfall. Just as stated, Jamaica, not to mention Cuba, the Turks and Caicos, Bahamas, even up to an inch of rainfall across those spots as well. Moving southward, we can see that we have some amount of rainfall to be received across portions of Colombia, portions of western Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Honduras getting in on some of that rainfall as well. And we have consensus with these very spots on the Euro model as well. And we know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Moving to the west, we can see that both the GFS and the Euro models are showing that Mexico is going to be getting in is going to be getting in on a lot of rainfall, up to an inch of rainfall, possible maybe even some isolated flash flooding in some spots. Even portions of Belize as well as Honduras and Guatemala could get in on some of that rainfall, all courtesy of that cold front. So ensure that you take necessary precautions so that you're not that drastically affected from now up to 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Alright, so that's it for the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. Thanks for watching.